Hi everybody, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. So last Sunday, February 16th, at 8 p.m. I went to see Six on Broadway at the Brooks Atkinson Theater. Now, Six has had quite a few pre-Broadway tryouts. They were in Chicago, they were over at ART this past fall. They originated in London, and they have a production in Australia as well. So Six has already become quite the worldwide phenomenon so far. So Six is written by Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss, and we can call them Marlowe and Moss. And they were in a poetry class, and this idea really came about and turned into something really great. And I'm happy to see that people who are so young are taking their work to newer heights, especially Broadway. And I heard that they have like a deal with Sony Records, I believe it is, or Columbia. I could be completely wrong. Definitely comment if you know where they got signed to, but that's really, really awesome for 25 or 26. That's amazing. Very inspiring. And the show is basically about these 6 women who are in a band, and they all have one thing in common. They were all wives of the vicious Henry VIII. And it's basically a competition for them all saying, oh, well, whoever had it the worst gets to lead the band. So throughout the show, we're hearing all their backstories, and each of the queens is contributing to telling that story to the audience. And it's done with a lot of pop tunes, and it has a cute book, like a lot of like funny moments in the book, and really interesting modern lyrics put to a situation that's ages ago. You know, I think that's really neat. Much like Hamilton, but in a different way, and I'll talk about how it's different in just a moment. But let's talk about our queens. So we'll start with Katherine of Aragon. Katherine of Aragon is played by Adriana Hicks. She is fun. Her movement is fantastic. Her riffs were just incredible. She was really, really great, and she nailed that number no way. I thought she was really wonderful. Then we have Anne Boleyn, who's played by Andrea McKaysit, if I'm saying that right. A lot of her character, I think, consisted of jokes about her being beheaded because she did lose her head. She was the first queen to be beheaded, and if you've ever seen the other Boleyn girl, incredible film. But, oh my God, she just lived a horrible, horrible life. In that reign, I should say. But I thought Andrea did a really great job with her song. Sorry, not what I said. And the way her song was is they made it seem like the messages that were sent between them while he was married to Katherine Aragon were like text messages, basically. And it was very clever. I like what they did with that a lot. But she was really cute. She has a really terrific voice. And I think she has a really great character already established. Wonderful. Jane Seymour was played by Abby Mueller. Jane Seymour is definitely the more conservative one. She claims to be the only queen that he ever loved, and she died of sickness and had a son with him. And she sings a song called Heart of Stone, and it's really a moment where the audience is kind of like taken back. They're like, whoa, like all this silliness and very like upbeat show comes to a stop for a moment, and we just hear this woman's story, and she just does such a great job with the song. And you definitely hear some inspiration of like Adele in the song. It's like, you can and don't believe me, it's in the program. So I'm not like advocating for their merchandise, but Six has some pretty awesome merchandise. So I got this program, I was like, whoa, the Purple's program, or the program's purple, excuse me, and I just had to like pick it up. But it gives a lot of really great insight on the writer's inspirations. And you have let me go to her page. So Jane Seymour, it says right here, the Queen inspiration, which is inspiration. She was inspired by Sia and Adele, which is really neat. And then Anne Boleyn, who I just spoke about, was Lily Allen and Avril Lavigne inspired her. And I can kind of see it. Like when you read that, you're like, man, I hear it in the music. It's like, sorry, not sorry about what I said. And then you go, hey, you, I don't like your girl. It's like the same kind of beat. He was a skater boy, she said. Like, you definitely hear the inspiration there, but it's all original, which is really, really great. So we'll continue with our queens. Sorry for that little distraction there, but I thought that was really interesting. Anna of Cleves, who's like the real, like, you know, I might not be the prettiest to you, king, but step on down. That's what she does. She goes, I'm the queen of the castle, get down, you dirty rascal. She was played by Brittany Mack. She was really just killing it. She's a total like savage in this role. She's just wonderful, and fun, and she nails that number to a T. I mean, she definitely gets the audience clapping and going with her. And then we have Katherine Howard, who's played by Samantha Pauly. This was another kind of serious moment in the show. I mean, this woman was... I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what had happened in her past, but she was abused by many men in her life. And I thought that this song, All You Want to Do, was like a really very interpretive in stating that fact, that she had a very hard upbringing, and that just another abusive man like Henry VIII, would make things all worse. And then she ended up being beheaded as well. And she was played by Samantha Pauly. And Samantha Pauly did a really tremendous job in performing this role and sending the message that the song was trying to convey as well. And she was definitely like the good looking one, and nobody beats me because I'm Katherine Howard. I had it the worst. I have all the confidence in the world. I'm going to win. And she did a really great job. Then we have Katherine Parr, who kind of tried to like be neutral with the entire thing and end it all. She was played by Anna Uzele, if I'm saying that right, or Anna Uzel. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but she also was really, really terrific as well. I felt like she didn't have that much to do. I think she was the one queen that kind of just comes in later on at the end, and that's actually the queen that Toby Marlowe, I believe, stood in for in London when people were getting sick in the cast, and he came in and played the part for a night, which was really, really cool. But she was really, really great as well. And I mean, her vocals are just on fire. I wish the role had a little more to do besides, kind of stop everything and go, why are we doing this? This is ridiculous that we're having a competition. But everybody is really tremendous in this cast. And the band, for a 4-person band, they really bring up the fire. They really get the party going. The lighting, I'm going to be honest with you, I think they have lighting in the bag. I think the lighting is just insane for this show. The cues are just so aligned with the music, and wow, like it's awesome. The lighting totally blew me away with this show. They also give a little bit of information on the queens and who everybody's playing in the playbill. I think it's a fun time. I really do. Overall, I think it's fun. Is it groundbreaking? I don't really think it's that groundbreaking, to be completely honest, but I do think it is a really fun show, and it's good for people who want to feel like they have a voice. And these 6 women certainly did not have the voices they deserved in history, and I'm very happy to see that there's a show out there that's giving these people a voice. I mean, much like Hamilton. The way it differs, though, is Hamilton was a little more forward with its lyrics and dialogue, and it was a little more, the language was simplified. This is a little more like teeny bopper simplified, so it's more, if I'm putting that correctly, so it's a little more geared towards younger artists and people who listen to like Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift and Adele, as mentioned before, and Avril Lavigne when she was popular. But I think like it's more geared towards a very modern language, if that makes sense. They really, really modernize the language. Like, they say things like LOL, da da da, and then don't lose head. Like, that's how people text, so it makes sense. And I think a lot of the key terms that were used were very, like, teen-oriented, and just, like, it's more for a younger audience. I think Hamilton kind of reaches a bit of a wider range because it's not just the classical story, but it's references to different plays and different literary works as well, which they don't really make a lot of reference to other literary works in here. They do reference a few historical figures, but aside from that, I think they did a really good job conveying the message to a younger audience specifically. Like, I think this is going to be like a really hot show for like schools to go see on Broadway to learn more about what they're learning about in class. I think we learned about that in 7th or 8th grade. Like Henry VIII and his reign, and we did learn about all of their wives, which is really neat to see that this is being turned into something that people of that age can relate to, which I think is really interesting about 6. There's really not much of a set design either. It's just, it was a very, I think it was a very low budgeted production, but it looks like very high budgeted because of the lighting and the costumes. And I mean, the costumes are awesome. I mean, there's a whole part where they take this, I think it's Cleves, it's Anna of Cleves. They take her costume off, and she's in like this like bodysuit almost, and it was just really, really cool. So I thought I think it's a really fun show. I definitely think it's a fun time, and I would totally see it again. It's short and sweet. It's short and sweet and to the point, and I think that's what a lot of audiences are looking for nowadays, is they are looking for something a little shorter and sweeter, and I think it does the job of telling 6 women's different stories so well in such a short amount of time. It's like, hey, you want to hear a story? Okay, we'll get you in, we'll get you out. And, there's no one urging to go to the bathroom. There's no one, rustling their ice. It's just, you're here, you're in the moment. We're going to keep you in the moment for about an hour and 20 minutes, and then you go out and you tell your friends. So, 6 on Broadway is definitely a fun time. I would highly recommend it, even to a younger audience, because there's really no bad language or anything either. It's very family friendly and definitely a fun time. So check out 6 on Broadway, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.